Hey guys, Let's Play here, and welcome to my Ramza breakdown. So I decided to make the conscious decision to skip both Ramu and Faris, as life just suddenly got really busy at that point, and I couldn't find the time to sit down and actually do the breakdowns, and I thought if I skip those two, then the Ramza one should be better. So hopefully that decision pays off in this breakdown. So one thing to also note, I'll be making a few changes to this breakdown. I will be removing the section on the passives. I find that, in my opinion, that one was the weakest section of the breakdowns. I wasn't a fan of it, and I didn't know how to improve it. I kept trying to change it, and I might revisit it someday in the future, but I'm finding that because of the amount of guard medals we all have now, we'll be breaking or getting armors and breaking them, so we'll be having tons of CP to be able to equip everything, so there'll be no real need to go through that passive list, and I hope that it should make this breakdown a much better viewing experience. Also, in terms of the banner, I will be just looking at the new stuff because I've covered a lot of the CP15s already, so there's no real need to just go through them again and again because I don't think I can add any more to them, and this way I should be able to give a better review of the new stuff that comes in each banner now. As always guys, your feedback is most welcome. I'm going to make these as great as I possibly can. I can't do it by myself. I always love your feedback on it, and hopefully at some point in the future we can make these breakdowns be some of the best on YouTube. That's one of my main goals for breakdowns. I want it to be really good content for everyone to really enjoy. But with that out of the way, let's go on with the breakdown. I'm excited. Ramza is one of my favourite Final Fantasy characters. I love tactics. I just can't wait for him to be in global. I love using him in JP, and this is just going to be so much fun when he hits global. I know a lot of people are very hyped for this, so they're all excited, and me too. But with that out of the way, let the breakdown begin. Alright, so let's talk Ramza and how he is in battle. So Ramza is a physical attacker, and his whole role in battle is to support the party with various buffs. Ramza also has a self buff for himself, which is actually a really good buff. So let's talk his command abilities. So Ramza's first command ability is called Shout. Shout grants Ramza medium attack up, small max brave up, and small speed up for 5 turns, and also gives him a little brave boost based on his attack power. His second ability is called Galvanize, and Galvanize grants small attack up and brave regen to all party members and increases their brave based on Ramza's attack power for 6 turns. So Ramza's whole goal really is just to give his party members more attack and constant stream of brave so they can possibly HP attack earlier or just break a lot easier. Now, when Ramza has both of these buffs up, he becomes a bit of a monster. So we're going to demonstrate here and see how much better he becomes when his buffs are up. So we're going to hit B. As we can see, when we hit B, we did about 600 damage. Now we're going to use Galvanize. Let's hit B again. Now our damage goes to 700. And then we're going to use Shout. Now one of the good things about Shout is that it's a frame buff that contains all those buffs in one. So that means that, as you guys can see here, Shout will stack with a lot of other different buffs as well. So that makes Ramza really good. Now we're going to hit B one more time. And look at that, we go up to 1000. So obviously this will scale a lot better if we have stronger weapons. I'm having Ramza equipped with bare bones so I can demonstrate how he is without any kind of equipment. I can't believe I have to say this, but I did get some comments or some other videos where people are like, my character is different in my account, and I have to say this so that they understand why it's different here. It's because I've removed all their stuff, so that it gives a good idea and demonstration of how the character is in base form. But that's pretty much it. Like, the party will be able to get so much brave with Ramza, and this is probably why he's rated so highly, and why a lot of people are very excited to get him. I, for one, I would hope I get something for Ramza, but knowing my global luck, I'm not expecting anything. So, yeah. But this is pretty much it, really. When Ramza has both of his buffs stacked together, he becomes a real powerhouse for himself. And combined with two other people doing damage as well, they end up doing so much damage, and it makes the game quite easier for global. So that's one thing to note. But yeah, that's Ramza, and I hope you enjoyed this little demonstration. Let's talk about Ramza's CP15, the Broadsword. So the Broadsword increases the potency of Shout's buffs and extends the duration to 8 turns. Also, it lowers action delay. What's good about the Broadsword is that it makes Shout last a lot longer, so you don't need to be using it as often. So every 8 turns is a long time. So as we want to be finishing battles as quickly as we can, we actually don't need to be using Shout all that often with this equipped. That means that Ramza can be doing other things, like he can be attacking more, or he can be HP attacking more, or he can be using his other ability Galvanize as well. It also eases his burden. So one of the things that I find with support characters is that once they start getting the buffs up, they don't really do as much damage as other characters do. But with this equipped, Ramza stands alongside his other characters, being able to deal as much damage as those guys too, which means that your DPS is still pretty good and you're not slowed down. Also, because his max brave is up as well, Ramza can hit higher heights than, say, the likes of Penelo or Saz or Aiko or Hope. So that makes him really good in that regard. And overall, this is a really good CP15 to have. Now, in terms of recurrence, this will come back when Ramza becomes a permanent character for recruiting later on down the line. Also, Ramza will be an event character for his level break, as well as when Lina from Final Fantasy V comes into the game as well. So there's quite a few chances to get this. And knowing global, there will most likely be a weekly banner where this comes back to. Next up, we'll be talking about his CP35. So let's talk Ramza's CP35, the Platinum Sword. So the Platinum Sword increases the potency of Galvanized attack up and Brave regen, and sends the duration of those buffs to 9 turns. So what's great about this? Well, 9 turns is one of the longest we have. I think only Aiko has buffs that last longer. So that is a crazy amount. That means we don't need to be refreshing it as much as other buffs. And that means, like with the Broadsword, we can have more turns doing other stuff too. So if we have the two of them in tandem, Ramza becomes a real monster. Like, he becomes such a beast, and it's really good to have the two of them together. But with the attack up and the Brave regen, you don't need to be using abilities as often, so you can actually save out on using abilities for your other characters as well. So it's really good for longer battles too, where you go through all these rounds of these trash and you don't want to use all your abilities. If you want to be on the conservative side, you can with this. So this one is one of the most anticipated CP35s in the game. In my personal experience using it, I got it quite late. So unfortunately, I missed out on a lot of the game when this first came out in JP. Now, I found that when I did get this, my parties got a lot better with it. That Brave regen, the increased Brave that you get from the regen, as well as the attack up, meant that I could break stuff so much easier. I was hitting my cap a lot quicker, and I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. Ramza is one of my best supports in JP right now. He has been eclipsed though by Ketsi and Selfie, but doesn't mean he's bad. That he's still a very good support if you do have him, and I only wish I had pulled him a lot earlier. I think the game is still doable without this, so this isn't a must-have. It's not like in Record Keeper where this was like one of the most defining relics in the game. This one is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a bonus, and Ramza's still okay without this, but this does make him a lot better, like noticeably better. And in terms of reoccurrence, just like the broadsword, it will come back when Ramza has his moment back as a permanent character. Also his level break. Also his event synergy with Lena. And probably in a weekly banner. In JP, he did appear in a weekly banner as well. Something I just remembered. And in that banner, he was there with Prish and Lily set, which was a crazy good weekly banner. Crazy good. So there'll be multiple chances to get this, but it will be a long while if you miss out now. It'll be a long while before you do get a chance to get this again. So if you really want it, then now's the time to go for it. And finally, let's talk Zidane and the Butterfly Sword. So, the Butterfly Sword increases free energy's Brave multiplier to 1.5. Also increases the success rate of small defense down, and if it does, extends the small defense up and small defense down durations to 5 turns. So what's great about the Butterfly Sword? It hits the Brave cap very easily. I mean, to have a multiplier of 1.5 is fantastic. This combines actually really well with Ramza, funny enough. So with all the Brave that you're getting and stuff, it's quite easy to hit that cap and launch off really powerful HP attacks. Also, the increased rate makes the defense down very easy to proc, which means that your other characters can deal more damage and gain more Brave that way too. So overall, this is actually a really good CB35. Now, is this one like the be-all and end-all or something to really go for? Well, in my JP account, this was my very first CP35, and none other better than my favorite games, FF9. Like, small plug, because I always plug that FF9 is my favorite. But this one served me so well. I was able to deal so much damage with it because of how many HP attacks I could cap quite easily with. And the small defense down meant that it was very easy for my other characters to break quite easily as well. And when I had those clutch moments where I could go unbroken, that extra defense saved me a few times as well. I'm a lot of bias goes into this, but I thought this was a really good CB35. And in terms of globals meta, in terms of the CB35s that are out now, I think this is on one of the weaker spectrums, but it's still a good one. It's still a good one. In terms of reoccurrence, let's see. Well, Zidane, he doesn't really feature that much as a synergy character after this, really. He does come back in quite a few weekly banners in JP. He will get a recurrence of his weapons on his level break. And other than that, not really much of a recurrence for this. So it's just another one that will become quite rare as the game goes on, unless Global decides to pull off its weekly banner surprises. Also, Zidane will be a featured character for one of the World of Illusions, so he will get a recurrence of his relics there too. So that's one thing to note as well. So if you really want it, this is like another one that you kind of want to go in now. But if not, then you want to be patient. Then it will be a bit of a wait. Just let you know. But other than that, overall, it's a good weapon to have. I can't think of too many drawbacks to this, to be honest. Other than, no, I can't think of anything. It's an all-round good weapon. So let's go through the Holy Dragon's attacks. So the first attack we can see here is the Holy Breath. The Holy Dragon tends to open up with this attack and doesn't use it very often, and it's pretty much an AoE magical holy attack. Next up, we'll see the Holy Dragon's single target attack holy, which is just a holy magical attack to one target, and that's about it really. Nothing else other than that. Okay, so this is the Holy Dragon's most dangerous attack. This is what I'm calling Holy Ray. Holy Ray deals 10 hits of magical holy damage to all party members and gives himself a self-Asuna, which will clear him of any debuffs he may have. Here's one thing also to note is that the Holy Dragon's HP attacks are all physical, so characters like Galuf can dodge it if he has his blade block up and active. Also, one thing to note, when the Holy Dragon reaches around 50%, he'll just self-Asuna himself and get rid of any debuffs he may have. And also, I think it's like a active passive from here on out. His attacks do a bit more damage. And finally, this is what I like to call Dragon Combo. So it's 3 physical brave attacks followed by a HP attack afterwards. So here we are on Dissidia DB, where we'll be looking at Ramza's passive once he gets his level break. So we get start speed up at Crystal Strength 54, which slightly raises speed for 3 turns when the battle starts. When you have this equipped, Ramza more or less will be starting first in a lot of battles, which means you can get your buffs up before the enemy can attack, and that's a really good passive to have. Next up is Shout Extend. Shout Extend increases Shout's max usage by 1. It slightly improves its effect and lowers its action delay. And it lowers action delay by quite a lot, so your turn kind of flies when you use it. Also, it turns HP attack into HP attack plus while Shout is active. HP attack plus raises Brave based on attack power before dealing damage, so that's really good. So it means that it's kind of like Zidane effect really. So when you go to use your HP attack, you'll gain some Brave and then HP attack. So overall, it makes Ramza really good as well. Then we get Buff Base Up, which moderately increases initial Brave while buffed. And then finally, we get what Dissidia DB calls support. I'm calling Galvanize. It could be Cheer. I mean, who knows what this will be in global, but I like to go with Galvanize because of NT. But yeah, so this increases the max usage by 2. It slightly raises the potency of attack up and brave regen. Also grants max brave up to all party members as well, and turns brave attack into brave attack plus for 9 turns after. And brave attack plus raises all allies brave attack based on attack power. So what it turns Ramza into is a mini brave battering. Unfortunately though, Ramza doesn't really do as well other characters in terms of giving brave to the party, but it's still a good amount and enough that it can save you from getting broken if someone HP attacks afterwards and the boss is about to attack them. When you do get Bahamut later on in the game, and Bahamut increases the power of non-elemental attacks, this makes the Brave Attack Plus a lot better. So what I'm going to do now is show you guys how Ramza is with his level 60 passive all equipped and his CB35 and armor all equipped too. So let's go through Ramza with pretty much everything equipped. My Ramza is one limit break away from being able to fully cap out his CP35. I have his CP15 mastered and I've got the crystal 50 and above passives all equipped too. So this will be a showcase of Ramza in the future and what he brings to the table. So here we go. I'm going to be using his first ability here, which is now a lot better. It's got 5 uses max, and look at that. My Brave just goes to some really good values. Now we're going to demonstrate the Brave Attack Plus, and bam! As you guys can see, I'm just gaining Brave for fun. Next up, Shout. And as you guys can see, my Brave has now gone up super high. It's at 12,000, so that's going to be really cool. Now, I'm going to demonstrate HP Attack Plus, which, because I'm capping my Brave there, you didn't get to see the greatness of it, but you're going to see it here, so watch this. Makes life so much easier. And it's really good for the Crystal Quest too, but we can clear those now. When you have all the buffs active for Ramza, he becomes just really, really powerful. Really, really powerful. And he's just overall really good for the party. So, Ramza has yet to get an X weapon at this point in time. I have a feeling, and I don't know why, that he'll get his X weapon in May. Yeah, I don't know why I had a brain fart there. I was wondering what's the next month. And I have a feeling that he'll be getting his in May. So look out for that, guys. Well, that's just a guess. It's all in theory, so don't take this as quote of fact. But I've got a feeling he will. Well, if he doesn't, then that'll be a shame, because I think a lot of characters are now getting X weapons, so it's going to be cool if he gets his next month. But this is pretty much how Ramza is. I'm never going to be that guy who relies solely on tiers and says Ramza's only B tier, so don't do this or do that. I hope that the showcase can help you to make your own decisions, and hopefully this should give you a bit of a glimpse as to what Ramza will be like in the future as well. But this is pretty much it. I find him to be really good. He holds his own weight with the party as well, and he really thrives with Bahamut, the summon that you will get later on in the game, because it makes his Brave Attack Plus so much better. But hopefully you guys all enjoy this breakdown. It is different from my usual ones, but I'm hoping that it's better. That's the most important thing for me. I'm hoping that this one is a better breakdown than my previous ones. And like I said, your feedback is very most welcome and much appreciated. But this will be it for the breakdown, and I will see you all for the next video. As always, guys, I thank you all for watching. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to me. Make sure that subscribe button is clicked, and also make sure that thumbs up is clicked as well. It looks better when it's nice and blue. Anyway, let's finish off this battle and finish off the breakdown.